Hey YouTube, it's lilrockercutie2005 here, also known as Andre. Once again, I am hanging with Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris. And we are going to do a massive DVD and VHS update today. Now, we did do this before, but we've bought some stuff in the past couple days, so I decided to take the old updates down and redo it. So that's what we're doing, and we're going to start with the VHSs. So, I'll let you start.
Alright. Notice my new hat, by the way. It's awesome.
Very cool.
Yes, I am awesome. Jerry Springer, Too Hot for TV.
We just watched this, and let me say, classic Jerry. This is what Jerry was all about.
Oh yeah. This is kind of funny at parts. Especially after like the sister yelling at her brother for going to get a sex change. And
yeah.
I know your boyfriend's dicks look like.
Yeah. Except for the one she has now, and I'm working on him.
That's kind of creepy.
I love the fights.
Jerry.
Of course, nothing like a good fight on Jerry Springer. First up for me is one I got from my friend Vanessa. It is a Dirty Harry movie, quite possibly the best in the series. It is Sudden Impact. I don't know much about this because this is my first time actually going through the Dirty Harry movies, and I'm trying to find them all. And so far all I have is this, and I have Magnum Force on DVD that I got from Seanatonin a few months ago. But this is the one with the famous line, "Go ahead, make my day."
Ernest goes to jail. I grew up watching these movies. He's funny. All his characters he has are funny. Especially that old lady one. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen it in a while.
I've never watched the Ernest movies, believe it or not. I remember him, but I've never watched the movies.
Sad, but yeah, we get these all the time. Trust me, this is a good worth a watch for classic. Yes.
I do remember watching that one.
When he went to jail.
Next up for me is one that Seanatonin sent me. It is Highlander. Now, according to him, this flopped at the box office, but it also turned Christopher Lambert into a star. Now, this is another movie that I don't know much about because I was never a big Highlander fan, but I am willing to check it out, and if somebody could give me a little information, maybe, you know, what it's about and all that, I would really appreciate it. Just leave me a comment or send me a PM or whatever you do.
Mission Galactica, the Cyclone Attack.
Cylon.
Well, either way, I haven't watched this movie yet. I just not really watched Battlestar Galactica, so
it's one that came from Seanatonin, and of course, I'm not really into Battlestar Galactica. I never have been.
Yeah, so maybe I'll watch it one of these days. I'm just gonna take my time watching it though.
Let's say the whole series is out on DVD.
I know. My aunt loves that show.
Ooh, excuse me. Next up for me is another one from Seanatonin. This is U2, the Pop Mart Tour, live from Mexico City. I guess this was their biggest concert of that tour. Now, I am a U2 fan. I have been since I was a little kid, since I first heard the Joshua Tree. And I listened to pretty much every album after that. Even went back and listened to the earlier stuff. Became a big fan, and of course this concert, I'm surprised, it has a lot of my favorite songs, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
X-Men, Career Choice from the animation series from
the 90s.
I was getting there. It's just basically the first 2 episodes, and I saw for $1, so why not? And it includes a 5-minute roundtable discussion with Stan Lee, Scott Lobo, and a couple other people at the end of this. So,
I think I remember those tapes because I think that's the exact same one I had.
I've been wanting these forever. I've been wanting these since I was a kid, but no, they're expensive back then.
I don't even remember where they were selling them.
Kmart.
So I think I found mine for like $5.
It's a Kmart.
Now my last VHS is an anime, also one that Seanatonin sent me. It's called Biohunter. Now it's from the director of Wicked City and Ninja Scroll, 2 of which I really like. And this is another one. It looks really dark, and I don't really know if I'll be able to follow it. But I think it'd be worth a look because I am a fan of Ninja Scroll and Wicked City, and I'd like to see what else this director has done.
The Predator movies, 1 and 2. I love this. I love these movies. I love The Predator.
I've seen the first one, but I've never seen part 2.
Part 2, it's really good. Just basically about a heat wave and gang wars, and a predator comes and starts killing people. And the main character, I can't remember who he is.
I think he's Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. He fights the predator, and in this ship, you see an alien skull. Among his trophies.
What a way to tie it into Alien vs. Predator.
That's pretty. That's started a comic book series. And then you got me to a movie. Well, I got 1 VHS left.
Oh, I'll let you have at it.
Doctor Who. It's with Tom Baker.
And which doctor is he?
I think number 5.
So that must be from like the 70s or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one companion with Sarah Jane Smith. And I found this like $1.25. I was like, oh, Doctor Who! I'm getting it! It's just basically, I think, it's like a 96-minute special or something like that, movie or story arc. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this. I'm definitely gonna watch this because Doctor Who. And I get a chance to watch any classics, do it.
Now for my first DVD, and we're gonna go into a little animation here. It's Ralph Bakshi's Heavy Traffic. Now, I did watch this a couple weeks ago, and it was one that I found that I really liked. And I thank Michael King for leaving me a comment, giving me some information on it before I watched it. And I don't really know how to describe this movie, but I think a mix of live action and animation, and they did a really good job with it. And I can also see why for the early 70s this would be rated X. And the funny thing is, on the back, the actual back of this, it says it's rated R. And I could see how today that might be a tame R. Or maybe, I wouldn't even say tame, more like a strong R. But I can definitely see where in 1973 this would get an X rating.
Moral oral. This is like one of the best adult swim shows out there. It's just basically about them making fun of Protestants. And Oral starts learning stuff. Of course, my favorite episode's the crack one. Oral gets high on the crack.
Yeah.
Oh, this is jive. Oral. Every time I control you into the study. And he learns a weird lesson like crack. It's a gateway to slang. Geez, golly, Dad. Next time I do crack, I'll talk proper English. That's my boy. Now give me the crack. 50% of it I make goes to the church. Nice moral lesson there.
Yeah. Next one for me is another Ralph Bakshi film called Coonskin. Now, I only saw one review of this on YouTube here from Baker Brothers Films, and the review made it look really interesting. He gave it a 5 out of 5, which he says it's quite possibly Ralph Bakshi's best film. Now, I haven't seen this yet, so I still say it's Heavy Traffic, but I'm looking forward to watching this, and from what I've read, this is the first time that this has been released onto DVD.
Corpse Bride. To Make Your Nightmare Before Christmas. Basically about the guy who gets getting married, gets nervous, and he practices and puts on brings out a stick. Turns out to be a human bone, and he ends up marrying a bride that was killed in the middle of the woods. A great, fun escape movie. People, you should check it out if you haven't yet.
Next for me is my third and final Ralph Bakshi film in this update. It is American Pop. Now, I do have a little bit of a story behind this movie. I saw it on Cinemax when I was like 12. It was late at night, and I remember a lot of the music, and especially when it gets into the 60s and 70s, when it's the last two generations of the family, and it's all this really great pop music at the time. And if you're a fan of music or a fan of like animation in general, this is one that I would really recommend because, I mean, the 60s and 70s music, it's great, and I don't know, it's music I grew up on, so I guess this movie kind of holds a special place in my heart because of that, but it's one that I really enjoy, and it's one I would highly recommend.
X-Men Gifted, the motion comic book. Basically, they found a cure for mutations, caused a lot of chaos.
Basically, they're retelling The Last Stand.
But a different way. No Leech. No mutant named Leech. Where they get the cure from. It's just basically a young race who thinks humans shouldn't have powers. That's a good one. Plus, it has like history of the comic books up to that point.
Next up for me, I have Undergrads. This is the first and only season of it. Now, this was a show that was on MTV after Daria, and I think this show was on during like Daria's peak time, so it didn't do as well, and it only, like I said, it only lasted one season, but I think it was a really good one for telling about college life and the experiences and everything. And I would say if you've gone to college or done anything like that, college-wise, then this kind of tells the story that everybody goes through, and I think it's a really cool way to tell it.
I just didn't care for that show.
You liked Colin High more, which I couldn't really follow.
Oh, it's one of those shows you don't follow. It's just a good laugh. That's a funny show, but Thundercats, Volume 2, Book 2. Volume 1. Well, Season 1, Volume 2. Which actually, they call it Book 2. So anyhow, just continuing the adventures. And we find Burbles. And they find our first stone. And I go through some trials. And they fight Mama some more. It's really good.
Now there's a Book 3 coming, isn't there?
Yeah. Probably a Book 4 too. It's like 26 episodes the entire
Well, I
thing.
knew that.
And they put like 4 per episode on disc. And there's 2 in here. So that's 8.
That's 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's 8 episodes. I have 16 so far, so there's probably probably 2 more coming out.
If you've already got the first 16 episodes, then there's only 10 more episodes to go. They could probably cram it all into one volume.
Who knows? Well, who knows?
Now I'm going to get started on my horror. This was a pawn shop pickup that I picked up the other day. It is Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Sutherland in the movie Virus. Now, I saw this years ago, and I don't exactly remember what it's about. All I know is I remember this thing about they find this derelict ship, and it's got this like alien or something on it. This is one I would have to watch again to really remember what's going on, but I do remember enjoying it, and of course I love Jamie Lee Curtis, and I guess anything with her in it, I'd pretty much watch.
My last animation, I believe, so far will be Silverhawks. From the creators of the original Thundercats. It aired before Thundercats. Just basically they turn these people and like one alien into like 90% machines. So they go to this galaxy of Limbo to fight Monstar. And I tell you what, they have probably the worst weapons out of all the series. They shoot lasers out of their shoulders. It's like, really? Why aren't they dead yet? It's not too bad of a series, just, yeah, it lasted a lot less than Thundercats did.
Right.
So, Larry Kenny, Earl Hammond, and Peter Newman all have voice. They're all the Thundercats. Mm-hmm. Larry Kenny did Lionel. I can't remember who does in this one. Earl Hammond did Panther, I believe, and he does. I don't know what he does in this one. But Peter Newman played the voice of Tigra. He's this guy right here, Steel Wing or something like that. So.
Next up for me is the I Spit on Your Grave remake. Now, I watched this a couple nights ago, and let me tell you, it is a movie that is good for letting out aggression. I was screaming at my computer screen because I was watching this on the computer, and I woke my mom up with as much as I was screaming and cussing at the TV. And I gotta say that the actress who plays Jennifer Hills in this one, she does a very good job with her revenge, I have to say. It's brutal, it's graphic, it is just fun to watch.
Yeah, I almost give you Roland to calm you down. It's like, come on, man. They can't hear you.
I don't care.
Witchblade, the complete series. I love this show. I watched, it was on when I was in high school. I loved it. I loved it. Well, a mystical item called a Witchblade attaches to Serpenzini. And pretty much, there's supernatural adventures that happen throughout this show.
How long was it on for?
2 seasons. But it ended on a cliffhanger, but they had to end it because Nancy Butler had a drug and alcohol problem. And she went to rehab, and she didn't get, and it was going to take too long, so they just canceled the show. But people are like, well, they should make a movie or something. I think they should.
Sort of like they ended Heroes with a cliffhanger.
Because they were assholes. Goddamn you, NBC.
They never brought back Bionic Woman.
Good show. Good show. I love that show.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Damn writer's strike.
The writer's strike affected pretty much everything. Look at all the crappy movies that were coming out during that time.
Oh yeah, and reality shows.
Oh, don't even get me started on reality shows.
Let's go to the chance.
Yeah, next up for me is the 2-disc Ultimate Edition of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I've seen this in a lot of people's updates. It's the Steelbook Edition, so I don't really know what much else to say about it, other than it is the original Tobe Hooper classic.
Done. See now, Volume 2 and Volume 3.
Lesbian.
You are.
Ah!
I have a new thing. He calls her a lesbian, I call him a lesbian.
Yeah, and I hit him for it.
And I hit back. Just the thin version of each season. If you watch my first real big update.
That was your overview, they call it.
Well, either way, I have all of them, but I gave them the thin ones. Because, I don't know, I like collecting my Xena. Good thing about this, you just play it all, and it plays all the episodes. You have to go, like the big ones, you have to go...
The ones from Anchor Bay.
Yeah, you don't have to go...
Episode by episode.
Yep. So I like these. No special features.
It's kind of like with Buffy, you have to go episode by episode.
Yep. But only like 4 more to go. Actually,
I have nothing against Z, and I just enjoy messing with them.
don't worry. I got watching 2 episodes.
Next up for me is Disturbing Behavior. Now, this is one of my favorite sci-fi / horror movies. It's got an excellent cast, including James Marsden and Katie Holmes. And it's about this guidance counselor who's using mind control to turn all the, I don't know, like slackers and underachievers into, I don't even know what you'd call them. They're like the straight A, preppy, like drones. And
Based on a true story of Home Lake.
pretty much, you look at Holden Lake High School and you see this movie.
Yeah, we went there for... Oh. God, I'm not glad I'm out.
Too long.
Too long. The first day was too long.
The first day was hell.
First day we didn't have half days.
Yep.
They decided, oh, full days go for everyone.
Yeah, full day for everyone. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on, I got better things to do.
Yeah.
Being Human, a sci-fi original series that they're based off of the BBC show Being Human. About a vampire, a ghost, and a werewolf living together. And going through life and the afterlife. It's a really good show. I like it.
Another one I didn't really get.
Yeah, so this is the show people should check out. I can't wait for season 2. Can't wait for season 3 to start either.
Next up for me is one that I traded with Buffyxenaman to get. It is Tales from the Hood. This is one that my grandma absolutely loved, and I remember watching it with her as a kid. And there was the one story in here about the little dolls, it used to scare me as a kid. It still scares me to this day. I will not go near, like, I don't know, any creepy looking dolls or anything like that. But I think it's because of this and Chucky. No matter how much I love the Chucky movies, I do not like stuff like My Buddy because it just, oh.
Then don't look to your left.
That doesn't bother me.
It's a creepy ass thing.
I think creepy is cute.
It's creepy. Urban legends. Shown on TLC where they talk about urban legends, and there's a lot of The Hook, The Funhouse, The Cremated Kid, which was I find kind of funny. I'm sorry, it's like, why would a mortician let his kids sleep lay down in any coffins, and then last time the kid did it, he laid down this like $50,000 coffin, he fell right to sleep, and they had taken it away.
You'd think they'd check.
Oh, the story goes they put it in the incinerator with the kid in it. But it's not true because they open it up and put him in the cardboard box. Which is kind of sad, but... Yeah, in the Funhouse space, $1 Million Man, they found a dead body hanging there. Turns out they found it in props from... It really was a dead guy. He was like an outlaw back in the old days.
I saw you watching that one.
Yep, they showed the pictures and he's buried now. How could someone miss that fact?
Right.
It's like, oh look, a dead body was hanging up from $1 Million Man.
Right. Next up for me is another one I got from my friend Vanessa. It is the 30th anniversary 2-disc edition of Jaws. Now, this is the Steven Spielberg classic, so I don't know much else to say other than what everybody already has. And this is one I enjoy, and I'm looking for the sequel, but I think I'm just going to stop with the second one because 3 and 4 absolutely suck, and they're not ones I enjoy. I remember watching them when I was a kid and not really getting into them, but the first 2 I really got into and enjoyed, and I hope one of these days I'll be able to find Jaws 2, but until then, I'm just going to keep looking.
Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off. I love the show. It's like one of the best out there.
It's decent.
Yeah, it's like a little bit darker. It's darker than Doctor Who. Darker than Doctor Who series. And pretty much Jack is an omnisexual. Anything. Human, alien, woman, man. You'll hit on, sleep with.
So basically he's a slut.
Basically, he's a proud slut. Yeah. It's a good show. It's like there's also Children of the Earth and Miracle Day and Eget.
So Captain Jack obviously believes in Margaret Cho's philosophy of slut pride.
Oh, yeah.
Next up for me is another one from my friend Vanessa. It is the classic The Evil Dead. Now, this is the original from Sam Raimi. And once again, I don't know what else to say that everybody else already has. It's just one I enjoy, and I've heard about the remake, and I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, because instead of there being a male lead like Ash, they're getting a female lead for it, and I don't know if that is going to be as interesting, or what they could do with it, if they're going to go with the CGI or use practical effects like this one did, but I'm kind of interested to see what they do, but until then, I'm going to try and get my hands on the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah, I just did not like those movies. The remake might be more interesting though for me. If they recast it. I'm not a real big fan of Bruce Campbell.
It's the only movies I really like him in.
He was in Xena, and Hercules.
I mean, I hear people raving about Maniac Cop, Maniac Cop. I saw Maniac Cop. It's not one I could get into.
The Vampire Diaries, season 1.
Oh, good show.
Yep. Just, about these two brothers who fall in love with the same woman who looks like their first girlfriend who turned them to a vampire. Borderline's a good show. On some aspects, it's like kind of creepy that these two brothers want to have the same girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, branch out, people. Branch out. Personally, I'm hoping for Damien.
Spread out.
In a long run, I'm hoping for Damien to win. That's all I have to say about that now.
Next up is a set that I actually completed. The first part of it coming from Seanatonin, and it is Wall Street with Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen. Now, I do not know how he knew this was one of my favorite movies, but he sent it to me anyway, and of course I thank him for that. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movies, and I don't know what else to really say about it, except for the fact that Michael Douglas did get an Oscar for his role of Gordon Gekko, and one of the things that really stands out in this movie is his greed is good speech.
Spartacus, Season 1 and The Gods of the Arena. Gods of the Arena is a prequel to this because, let's see here, the main guy, after the first season, was diagnosed with cancer. 18 months later, he died.
You may as well talk about your goddess's famous nude scene.
Oh yeah, Lucy Lawless is naked in both of these. He's seen it. He said, wow, they're big. Yes. My Lucy Lawless is naked.
Her Xena outfit pushes him down.
More like in. But anyhow. Yeah, she has her nude scenes. I was like, I wonder what they look like for a while now. No, I know. I watch it. I love this show. I can't wait for the third season to find.
Now, I'm going to go on again with my complete set. This is the second part of it. It is Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps. Now, this is another pawn shop find, and I found it for $2, and it's, once again, Michael Douglas, and this time, instead of Charlie Sheen, you got Shia LaBeouf, and I think Josh Brolin from Hollow Man, he's also in here. Now, I haven't seen this movie yet. I haven't even seen the first one in probably over 10 years. But Shauna Tone is one of the people who told me that this one, it quote-unquote, blows. But I'm looking forward to watching it because I love the first one. And I'm going to look up some more reviews on this one and see what kind of information I can find. And hopefully when I watch it, I'll enjoy it as much as I did with the first one.
Rome, an HBO original series. Basically about life in Rome. I gotta watch the first episode, not too bad. It's just basically about Caesar versus Pompey in a Roman Civil War. Not too bad. I look forward to watching the rest of it. It's also very, very much like, it's like Spartacus with the nude scenes and the swearing, and yeah, it's good.
Next up, I have a couple Vietnam movies. We'll start out with Hamburger Hill. Now, this is actually a true story. It happened in '69. This was a hill that had 70% casualties, and this is basically the story of what happened during the 10 days that they were trying to take this hill.
Justified. FX, the original series. It's just basically about modern day West. It's just modern day Western. I see a couple episodes, not too bad.
Timothy Oliphant from The Crazies.
Yep. And Damages and Deadwood.
Oh, we can't forget Scream 2.
No. But so far, so good. I look forward to watching the rest of this.
I have another Vietnam movie here. It is Casualties of War. It's the extended cut. It stars Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. Now, this is another one that's based on a true story. And it's about this group of soldiers that kidnap and rape this Vietnamese woman. And it is a very powerful movie. I have not watched all of this cut yet, but I've seen like the first 30 minutes. And so far, I haven't seen anything that I haven't seen in the theatrical cut, but I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it and actually seeing what they extended or what they put back in.
This guy from Andrew got from Seanatonin. It's the 6 Degrees of Helter Skelter, the Tin Buddy story, and the Boneyard triple feature. It's just basically, I guess, a show from the Discovery Channel that talks about these people. I've seen them all on Discovery Channel. I watched the Boneyard. And it's like, oh yeah, I saw that. Some people are just screwed at it. This thing proves it.
Mm-hmm. Next up, I have a couple Kevin Smith additions to my collection. This is the 10th anniversary extended edition of Mallrats. This was my favorite Kevin Smith movie until Clerks 2 came out. And this comes with the theatrical version and a 2-hour extended cut. Now, I've seen a theatrical cut numerous times, but I am looking forward to watching the extended cut because they stretched it from like 96 minutes to just over 2 hours. So that's over 30 minutes of footage, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they put back in.
Titanic. The definite... I can't say that word.
Definitive
Documentary collection. It's basically about... It has like 4 documentaries on it about the ship. I watched like a couple of them, not too bad. And then the second one talks about the survivors. Although I didn't get to watch the second one through because that music was so peaceful I fell asleep. They were drowning and I was going, oh, this is peaceful music, and I zonked out.
Oh, nice peaceful music.
Yeah, pretty much. That explains the drowning dream I had.
Speaking of Clerks 2, that is what I have next. It is one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies, and it picks up 10 years after the original with Dante and Randall working at a place called Movies. And now, instead of just talking about Star Wars and stuff like that, they also add ragging on their manager here, played by Rosario Dawson, and their geeky co-worker. They add teasing them to the list. And of course, this marks the return of Jay and Silent Bob. And I think that just like with Mallrats and everything on, except for Chasing Amy, they get to do a whole lot more. And it just adds to the movie as well as the level and the degree of funniness.
Titanic, the 100th anniversary collection from Discovery Channel. Oh, this is good. First one, they talk about certain survivors and they reenact it and tell them what happened at the end. They reenact the trial, when they were interviewed for the trial.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. It's like an hour and a half long. And it was this is good. I watched the whole thing, it's good.
Okay, we're losing power on the battery, so we're going to take a quick break so I can plug the camera into the charger. But we shall be right back. And we're back. Now, my next pickup is actually kind of a double feature. It's both the original and the remake of Freaky Friday. Now, these are both about a mother and daughter who switch bodies on Friday the 13th. And they each have to learn how to live in the other's skin. Kind of like the old saying, I wish you could trade places with me so you could see how I felt. That's basically what these movies do. They take that premise and they run with it. And they both do a very good job with it.
Yep. Those were good movies. Especially like the Chinese woman, and they're like, she's doing, yeah, like, mother,
Cookie?
No!
Turn around.
Majera, where the fuck is Santa Claus? It's basically Holly one where him and his crew go off to the North Pole pretty much. Or close to the North Pole. Look for Santa Claus. And bring him home for Christmas.
That was actually my copy.
Yep, so this is a pretty good movie. So
next up for me is one I got from Seanatonin. It is called Gung Ho. It's directed by Ron Howard and it stars Michael Keaton. Now, I don't know much about this movie except for that Michael Keaton has a Japanese auto firm reopen his hometown's auto factory, but the Japanese people that now own it want him to enforce their policies among his co-workers. And that's pretty much all I know about it. If anybody could give me some more information about this movie, I'd really appreciate it. Just leave me a comment or whatever.
Kathy Griffin, allegedly.
Kathy Kathy!
This already got me a few weeks ago, but it's just basically her stand-up where she talks about Brooke Shields' wedding, her happy carpet moment.
Your mother just molested me. I could sue you and own this house.
Oh yeah, was it the Papa Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, Eminem. Top of the morning to you, Marshall. Now, Marshall, you don't need to be raping your mother today. Go on and be a good lad then, Marshall.
When's the last time you ate?
What are you talking about? I look at Stella McCartney, she says, 2 years ago.
No, I got Maniac Cop Gwyneth Paltrow. She seems to have that kind of attitude. You just want to smack her.
I don't like Gwyneth Paltrow to begin with.
Ugh.
She annoys the hell out of me. Next up for me is Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Now, I've only seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, but I do remember the TV trailers for this one, where it shows them on the flight to Amsterdam and they're mistaken for terrorists, but that's really all I remember about it, and I'm looking forward to watching this, and hopefully I can get the third one, which is the Christmas one, pretty soon, and then I can have a triple feature fest and watch them all back to back.
Outsiders, based on the book.
Great movie.
It has a lot.
Very good movie.
It has a lot of people like Matt Dillon, Tom Cruise, Emilio Estevez,
Ralph Macchio, Diane Lane,
Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Ralph Macchio. But according to him, on the cutting room floor, another famous person was on the floor.
Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street. She was in this movie, but Francis Ford Coppola cut her footage.
It's supposed to be on the 2-disc one, so we have to get that. This is supposed to be extended edition.
It is. Cinema Sickness has got the 2-disc. I'll have to ask him if that footage is in there. Oh, sorry. Next up for me is one from Seanatonin. It's My Best Friend's Girl. This is the uncut version. It has Dane Cook, Kate Hudson, Jason Biggs, and Alec Baldwin. Now, from what Seanatonin has told me about this movie, this is one of Alec Baldwin's probably his filthiest roles.
Yes.
Now, I don't know much about this movie, but I do like Dane Cook, so this is another one I'm looking forward to watching.
I've seen that movie, and he's very filthy. They're all filthy in it. One of my favorite scenes in there, Dane Cook's trying to get that girl, and he goes, "I can't do this. I don't do cardio. I'd rather be smoking." It's kind of loosely based off of another movie I have, Mr. Fixer.
That one with David Boreanaz?
Yep. Well, they basically act like jerks, get the other woman to go back to their man. They left, so. And they both fall in love.
Ah.
I guess so. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Classic movie.
To the special edition. 100-year anniversary with a nice little flippy. The facts. And it has a documentary on second disc called The Making of. Fearful Summary. They talked to some original actors in this. Gregory Peck. One of the last things he did before he died, and they talked to like the woman who played Emil Yule and Scout, Bradley, Jim, the directors. It's a good documentary. It's a good movie. I watched it a few times.
It's a good movie to watch anyway.
Yep. I'd kill Korea in this one. Although I still remember that scene. You're not fit. You're not fit. Shoot you out there. You eat in the kitchen. Bam. Just like in the book.
Okay, I have another one from Seanatonin here. This is my first HD DVD, and it also comes with the DVD of it. It's Mr. Bean's Holiday. Now, I remember watching the first Mr. Bean movie when I was like 13 when it first came out. And it was one I got into for a minute, and I enjoyed it at that age, but I haven't seen it since I was 13, so I don't know if this one is just as good, because I do remember that the first Mr. Bean movie was PG-13, and this is rated G, so I really don't know what they could do with Mr. Bean in a G-rated movie, but looks like I'm gonna find out.
On Destination 1, and, 2 and 3. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, these are basically about people who cheat death and death coming to get them. Good movies. I especially like the special features they talk about, like cheating death, people coming back from the dead and like probabilities of some deaths happening. Some in the third one, that's what they do. That one, like probability of a lightning striking an entire team, killing them instantly. It's very high. And you get the first,
fourth, and fifth
ones to have it complete. So I like number 2 because Ellie Lauder's in it,
which is in the first one too.
Yep. You're good movies.
Yep. Next up, I have Whoopi Goldberg back to Broadway. This is her 20th anniversary stand-up, where she returns to the same theater she performed at in 1985 on Broadway. And this DVD is cool because it's a 2-disc set, and it also has that very first stand-up special she did from Broadway. Now, I watched the 20th anniversary one, and I thought it was really funny, and I'm looking forward to watching the 85 one and comparing the two to see like which is funnier, because like I said, I enjoyed the 20th anniversary one, and I am looking forward to watching her first one and seeing her at the top of her game.
The Wes Craven Collection, Cursed and Dracula 2000. They're both good movies in my opinion.
Dracula 2000 I like, but Cursed I wasn't a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of werewolf movies.
Yeah. People are dissing Dracula 2000, didn't like it. I thought it was good.
I did too.
Cursed, people had mixed feelings about that, I think, but it was a decent movie. But at least it was very different from any other werewolf movies, like Full Moon, Change. At least all month long for the full moon there. At least have some supernatural powers. But yeah, it's good fine.
I have another stand-up here. It's a pawn shop find. It's Dane Cook, Vicious Circle. Now, this is actually a 2-disc. It comes with the HBO edition and a 2-hour extended version of the show. Now, I remember watching the extended version, and of course, I love Dane Cook. I think he's one of the funniest guys, and this was just a great find, and I'm happy I found it.
The Mothman Prophecies. One of my favorite movies, basically based on the sightings in Point Pleasant when the Mothman was there in the 60s. And basically it's talking about people who saw the Mothman have visions. Everybody wants to see it.
And say, didn't you have that movie years ago?
Yeah, everybody wants to see it. And it's about it's like T6 for the Silver Bridge collapse. It has Richard Gere, they were missing. And I don't know who the other one is, but yeah, it's good.
I see.
It's her. But yeah, it's a good watch.
Okay, next up for me is another pawn shop find, and it completes another collection of mine. It's Spider-Man 3. Now, I did go to the theater to see this with Buffyxenaman, of course, and we did have a good time, but I think that was the only time I watched this movie because I never had a chance to get the DVD. And of course, I was looking for the 2-disc to go with my other 2, which are 2-disc, but I'm happy just having this one, and at least it completes the collection for now until The Amazing Spider-Man comes out.
Living Dead.
Now, this is one Karate Popcorn would like, because, well, I'll let him tell you.
It's just basically about a bunch of zombie movies on 3 discs. And it also has a Night of the Living Dead on there, Kingdom of Zombies, House by the Cemetery. It's like a lot of good classic ones on here. About 13 hours worth. And just like trailers, vintage posters, making up Night of the Living Dead documentary, extras. I haven't watched Night of the Living Dead on this one so far, but yeah.
That's technically the one that's worth it for.
Yep. Cost me $2.
It'd be worth it anyway for that much. Next up for me is one of my favorites from when I was younger. It's High School High. It stars John Lovitz and Tia Carrere, and it's a parody of all those, like, I don't know what you'd call them, like positive high school movies like Stand and Deliver and Dangerous Minds and stuff like that. It's from the creators of The Naked Gun, so you know it's funny. And this was before the Zucker brothers took over the Scary Movie franchise and ruined it. But this one is really funny, and a lot of the stuff is just plain hilarious.
Resident Evil trilogy. Oh,
bless you.
Thank you. The first 3 movies, which are the special edition discs are in this one. I saw this for $12. Like, oh damn, that's a good deal. And I grabbed it. So far, my favorite one has been the last one that's been came out.
Afterlife?
Yes. I mean, they keep getting better and better and better.
Retribution's looking good.
Oh yeah. All main characters are pretty much coming back from all 3 movies. And they're either going to do a big battle at the end or make another movie with a big battle.
Something's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Next up for me is one of my favorites from my teenage years. It's the original Gone in 60 Seconds. Now, this is the one from the 70s. It's not the remake with Nicolas Cage, but it's basically the same story. They have to steal, this time they have to steal 48 cars instead of 50 in the remake, but Eleanor's also, this time a different car. She's a 73 Mustang Mach 1, but she's also a fast car, and the star of this was also the stunt driver, the director, writer, producer, I think. But the chase scene with Eleanor alone is 40 minutes long, and they smash up 93 cars. It's just probably one of the best car chases ever put on film.
Dead clowns. Ugh. I traded this with Andre, and he hates clowns. Especially Pogo the clown.
Yeah.
Basically, clown zombies. It's supposed to be so controversial. It wasn't supposed to be on DVD.
It was supposed to get a theatrical release first, I think. But I think they sent it direct to DVD because it didn't do so well.
Yes. Clown zombies. It's kind of funny. Like in the Land of the Dead.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that clown zombie in there. Didn't even look like a clown, to be honest.
Well, they're evil. Anyway.
Next up for me, Any Given Sunday. Now, this is one of my favorite football movies. It's also a pawn shop find. It's an Oliver Stone movie, and it's about an NFL team with a new owner and the injured quarterback and the backup who replaces him, and all the stuff that revolves around the workings of an NFL team. It all takes place in this movie, and it's a really good one for being about football. It's one I would highly recommend, and I also enjoy.
Clash of the Titans.
Ugh.
I love this movie. It's a good movie.
I got dragged to the theater to see that crap.
I wish someone dragged me to the theater to see that crap.
I wish they would have dragged you instead of me.
Me too. It's good. I thought it was a good movie. It's good for a remake.
I didn't even like the original.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Wrath of the Titans.
Next up, I have Sudden Death. This is a Van Damme movie from 1995, I think. And it takes place during a Stanley Cup game where he has to save his daughter and stop a bomb from going off, all before the final buzzer of the game. Now, this is a really action-packed movie, and it's one I saw when I was a kid that I remember really enjoying.
April Fool's Days. Original and remake. I see this one, it's not too bad, but the ending could be some more.
The remake sucked!
And April Fool's Day, the original, I have not watched.
I don't see why the original gets so much hate. I mean, mainly for the way they ended it as like a joke, but I still don't understand why, just because of that ending, that this movie would get all the hate it does.
Okay, honestly, it's April Fool's Day. People expect not a jokey ending. You know?
Well, it's also another one of those holiday-themed slashers that were coming out at the time. You know, every holiday had one.
Yep, except for St. Patrick's... Well, not St. Patrick's Day.
Well, with St. Patrick's Day, you've got Leprechaun.
Guy Fawkes Day. There's no Guy Fawkes Day horror movie.
True. But then again, you don't even hear Guy Fawkes Day mentioned in America that much. I mean, not many people had heard of it until that Depth Takes a Holiday episode of Daria.
True, but I heard about it on History Channel. Just basically a guy, a bomb, and a church.
Hmm.
It's funny. It's a funny story. They hang. It's saddening. Well, they hang him at the end, but still.
Well, we're running out of time on this chip, so we're going to take another quick break to switch the chips, and we shall be right back. Okay, and we're back. Now, the next one for me is one that somebody on YouTube had to give me some information on, and it's one Seanatonin sent me. It is Asterix Conquers America, and I know this is the French writing here, but it's here in English, right under it in parentheses. Now, I didn't know much about this, so one of my friends actually had another person on YouTube comment on my page about it, so, but I think I also deleted that video too, but I would greatly appreciate a little bit of that information again, as I don't remember much of it, but I am looking forward to watching this based on that information, and once again, this is one sent to me by Seanatonin, and I'm glad for that, and personally, I hope I enjoy it.
The Hawk movie.
Yeah, the version that sucked.
I haven't seen this yet. I've seen a documentary on it. But I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it. I got it because it's a Marvel movie, so we'll see how it is when I watch it.
Next up for me is one from my childhood. It's called Rockadoodle. It's one directed by Don Bluth, who directed American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Secret of NIMH, stuff like that. And this is one I remember my grandma liking because she liked the rooster here, and because he was kind of an Elvis type guy. I don't know if my grandma was into Elvis or not. That I don't really remember. But from what I remember about the story is this kitten here is actually a real boy. The movie's a little bit of a mix of live action and animation, and this little boy turns into a kitten, and it's up to him to find the rooster and save the farm before it's plunged into eternal darkness or something like that, because I guess once this rooster left, he took the sun with him, and I don't remember much about the story, but I do remember it being kind of dark for a kid's movie, but it was one that I really liked, and I'm glad to have the DVD.
Shoot 'em Up, a movie with Clive Owen.
Very good one.
Good movie. It's a good movie, but it has moments I just mostly I like the shooting, but yeah, the scene where the mother's trying to punish her child, he comes in, hits her. I didn't really think that was really necessary. I sit down on YouTube, people are like, the child's not her property. I'm like, who says anything about property?
Yeah.
Idiots.
Next up for me is a double feature. It is The Secret of NIMH 1 and 2. Now, Chris bought this one for me a couple weeks ago, the same night he bought me the I Spit on Your Grave remake. And the first one is one that I really loved as a kid. I had the VHS growing up, and it was one that I watched a lot. I do have the VHS of part 2 still, but I don't know where it is because my cartoons and Disney movies on VHS and stuff are still packed up. But I do remember some of it, but I remember liking the first one more. I don't really know why, maybe because it was a bit darker, and I remember there being a performance by Shannon Doherty as one of the older daughters.
The Suicide Kings, a kind of a mobster movie where they kidnap this mob boss, and you think it has something to do with this guy's sisters being kidnapped. It's been like a while since I watched it. It's not too bad of a movie. It has David from Roseanne in here. And that's all I have to say.
Yep. Now for me, next up is another double feature. It's All Dogs Go to Heaven 1 and 2. Now this is another one that I had the VHS of as a kid of the first one. And I still have it to this day, but like I said, it's packed up. And I'm just glad to have this DVD because I do like both these movies, but the first one is the one that I like more because I grew up with it, and it's one that's always stuck with me.
The Scorpion King, a prequel to The Mummy's Return. Stars The Rock. Basically, it talks about what happened to him before the events of The Mummy Returns. It's a good movie. I saw it a couple times. Great action, great everything, really. It's something, if you have a money collection or you just like The Rock, watch it.
I have it because I like The Rock. I like the Mummy movies too. Next up for me is another animated classic. It is Charlotte's Web. Now, this is another one I remember watching a lot as a kid. It's one that my mom showed me when I was like probably 5 or 6. And I do not know what to say about it that hasn't already been said. I do remember just being totally entranced with this movie. I have the VHS still to this day. And it's one that I remember loving. I still love it to this day. And believe it or not, even though I am 28, the ending where Charlotte dies still makes me tear up.
Captain America. Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans. I watched this movie. It was it's awesome. It rocked.
I'm always going to remember Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Maybe him and Captain America have a baby together and have Captain Flamer.
That must be why they're revamping Fantastic Four, because he's playing Captain America.
Yep. I like to get the DVD and Blu-ray combo thing, but that right now is really out of my price range.
Isn't there a 2-disc DVD of that?
Yeah, but that's out of my price range too at the moment. Way out of my price range.
Oh, I believe it. Now, next up, I got this from my friend Vanessa. It's about the life of Robert Pattinson, and it goes from his early days, like modeling and all that, to his early acting jobs until he landed his big role in the Twilight Saga. Now, I am a fan of him, but some of the stories I've heard about the whole breakup thing, I don't know what to believe. I mean, he's been seen with Katy Perry. It's been rumored that he's been hiding out at Reese Witherspoon's house. I mean, I don't know what to say on the story. I'm just sick of it.
It'll go on forever and ever.
More than likely with the rumors of a 6th Twilight movie flying around. I mean, as much as I like those movies, what are they going to do with the 6th one?
No. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle.
Ah, very good one.
Yep, this is theatrical release, but I've seen it in theaters. And
lucky.
Yep, it was really good. We watched it like we got for my sister to give birth to a baby.
I'll say I have the unrated cut.
Yeah, I need to find that one, but yeah, this is still good. People said it sucked. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Oh, you're out?
Yep.
At the moment. SWAT with Colin Farrell. Awesome movie about a guy who is offering $1 million to anyone who breaks them out of prison. It's a good movie.
It is.
Tomb Raider. I just got this movie again. 2-disc special edition.
That's not a 2-disc.
What?
It's the special collector's edition.
Well, either way.
It's the same one I have.
Either way, unopened 2 ducks. I like this movie. It's a really awesome movie.
Yeah. That was actually my first DVD.
My first DVD was Buffy season 1 and 2. Peacemaker.
Oh, that's a good one. I remember that one.
George Clooney and
Nicole Kidman.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
I got it. $2.
Pawn Shop Fine?
Yep. And this is Hercules and the Adventures of Hercules. This is basically classic Hercules episodes from back in the day. I've seen one of them on TV. Oh, I haven't seen yet. I look forward to watching them. I like the Greek mythology movies. That's pretty much it.
Yep, the last one we have is one we both got from Seanatonin. It's from the director of Ghost in the Shell, Mamoru Oshii, and it's called The Sky Crawlers. Now, I remember seeing this back in 2009 when it first came out, and I lived in my house on White Birch Drive, still here in Holton Lake, and I remember just being spellbound by this movie, and the story, I don't remember much of the story. This was like 2-3 years ago when I saw this movie, but it kind of reminded me of like an animated version of Top Gun with younger pilots and everything, but it was still really good.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but thank you, Shauna Tone.
Next up, I have 3 new PS2 games. First up is a pawn shop find. It is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Now, this is one I've always wanted to play because I've heard so much about this series, and I'm hopefully trying to find 2 and 3 at some point so I can try them all. But this was a pawn shop find, $2. These last 2, of course, came from Seanatonin. Ford Racing Off-Road. Now, I like racing games, but I've never played the Ford racing games before, so I don't know really what to expect. And the last one is Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. Now, he told me this is a wrestling game mixed with an RPG, so it's one I'm looking forward to trying as well. And is that everything?
Except for the cat.
Like we don't have a cat to begin with.
No, then we're done.
Yeah. So that's our massive update for June and July, as well as the beginning of August. Once again, this is Lil Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre, chilling with Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris, and we are here telling you to enjoy life and enjoy some Starburst.
Eat chicken.